Everyone, my name is Bill Levinson, managing partner with Levinson and Associates. With us today, we have two speakers that are joining us. The first one is Joseph Loughran, our marketing vice president. And then, of course, we have our special guest speaker is a very successful Levinson agent of ours, Kent. And Kent has been with us for many, many years now. And he is currently using the Orphan Policyholder Lead Program and having much success. So we wanted him to join us on the call. And let me just say one thing, and then we'll dive into the presentation. But just remember that Ken is joining us on this call and taking time out of his busy day, okay, strictly to help our agents kind of get their arms around the program and hear from a true street agent that's using the program almost every day. So it's just a totally different perspective, and he is really doing this so our agents can benefit and hear from a real street agent. So it's a little different than me and Joe going over the program. So we want to take our hat off to Kent for spending the time with us today. Okay, so today's feature presentation is very, very exciting for us because we've been working on this for a while now, and we've been working with all of our companies to give us these orphan policy holders, okay? We know there's a ton of value here because these are policy holders that don't have a servicing agent, okay? Either the agent has been terminated for whatever reason, maybe they're not in the life insurance industry anymore, they lost their license for whatever reason, or just kind of let their license go. So whatever the reasoning is, the bottom line is the client does not have a servicing agent. So what a great opportunity for the Levinson agents to participate in these leads, call these clients and say, hey, you know, your agent that sold the policy 3 years ago is not appointed anymore with this company, and I am your new servicing agent, and talk about, you know, various options, talk about different conversion programs that they qualify for. And then, of course, you talk about your policy review program. So every year now, you have a chance and a way in to contact that client, set up the appointment, either over the phone or in person, and potentially make a sale or even get referrals from the client as well. So this is an awesome opportunity. And I'll just say before moving forward, you know, it's very rare. You know, we as an IMO, our job is to go out there and offer great service, great carriers, and good commissions, okay? And everybody is preaching the same thing. You know, that we have probably 5 competitors within 10 miles of us. So you can just imagine how many GAs or MGAs or IMOs are across the country, and they're all singing the same tune as we know. So, you know, the way that we look at this, which is very unique compared to our competitors, is not only do we want to offer those 3 things, but we want to give you and offer you various lead programs, different pieces of technology, free websites, CRM tools. We look at this like, if we don't put together a turnkey sales platform for our agents, you can have the best comp products and service till you're blue in the face, but you have no one to talk to and no one to share your story with, which is the name of the game. So we feel like it's our job to put all of these missing pieces together for you to be successful, and that is what we have done, and this is just another tool in our toolbox. So without further ado, we're going to introduce the brand new 2016 Levinson Orphan Policyholder Lead Program. Joe's going to talk about our upcoming agent training events, and then I'm going to dive into the program with our featured guest speaker, Ken. Joe?
Yeah, thanks, Bill. I just want to go over 3 upcoming events here, actually starting tomorrow at 12:30 p.m. Eastern. We're going over some great insurance solutions for business owners. That webinar is going to be about an hour long. You can register right from CarrieLevinson.com and join the webinar just like you are today. Tuesday of next week, which is the 20th at 11 a.m., we're actually going over America's Life Crest Universal Life products. That's going to be about 30 to 40 minutes. I will actually have a home office VP on the line as well to go over the product. And then Thursday, which is the 22nd at 2 p.m. Eastern, we're going over our exclusive mortgage lead program. We're actually going to have the creator of that program on the phone. We're actually going to hear some great sales ideas and concepts of how to approach those different mortgage leads. You can actually access any one of these, again, by going to CarrieLevinson.com, or you can access that Levinson YouTube channel. Right now we have over 150 different Levinson videos you can watch on demand, anything from product information to lead programs. In fact, today's webinar will actually be posted this afternoon, so you can go back and even listen to a replay of the same webinar if you'd like.
Okay, thanks, Joe. So, I'm just going to kind of go over the guidelines here, and then Joe's going to touch on the qualifications, and then we'll introduce Ken. But it's important for everybody to know. Obviously, this is a no-brainer, and every agent we have, which is over 10,000 now, would love to participate. These are free leads from us, but you do have to be active with us, okay, and you have to have at least written $10,000 of life premium, okay, and that started January 1 of this year. So if you have not hit 10,000 yet, no problem. As soon as you do, we will send you your lead. So even if you're brand new with us, there's still plenty of time, and then we're going to do a reset come 2017. So it's 10,000 of life premium annualized, or $1 million of annuity premium. So as soon as you get to that level, you let us know, or you will have an email invitation from us. But like I said, even if you're new with us or you're only writing one carrier right now, there's still plenty of time to qualify. And if not this year, early next year, you can qualify as well, and we will send you your free lead. So it's that simple. And again, there's no charge to participate. And, there's a statistic by LIMRA, which just came out, and the statistic shows that 50% of U.S. households, okay, that's 58 million people, say they need more life insurance, okay? So what a great opportunity. This is huge, and I can promise you almost every lead is at least going to be willing to hear more information about a new policy, an increase in coverage, or either going from maybe a term policy to a permanent level, say IUL, whole life, whatever the case is. So this could lead to critical illness sales, disability, accidental death. I mean, it can go on and on. And also keep in mind, right now we have a handful of carriers that are participating, but hopefully by 2017, that number will increase, which will give us more leads. So we will be able to lower those minimum qualification levels. So great stuff to come, and we're not going to stop here. We're constantly going to make this program bigger and better for all of our agents, okay? So we're excited about this, as you can imagine, and we hope you are too. I'll just give you a few little tidbits here, and then we'll introduce Ken. So as you can see, the features there, we have the orphan leads. They're available on a bi-monthly basis, okay? We have all of the policyholder information available. That's phone numbers, even addresses and emails, if they're available to us. But at the very minimum, we'll have a valid phone number. All of these leads are exclusive to each agent, so you don't have to worry about us giving the same policyholder out to 2 or 3 different agents. Another thing I'm going to mention, if you have various non-resident licenses in different states, not just your resident state, that's even better because there'll be more leads available for you. So when you do qualify, let us know what other states you're appointed in. Policy types, term with ROP, universal life, And again, these all have no active agents. No cost to all active Levinson agents as long as you reach those minimum requirements. Okay, and right now we're starting off the program with Genworth and Banner, and the reason why, and also keep this in the back of your mind if you want to jot down any notes, Genworth does not currently sell life insurance any longer. Okay, so that's a great story within itself, and Kent will talk about that a little more. Also, Banner Life has a new program where if you bought a term policy from Banner within 5 years, you can buy a new 25-year term policy with no underwriting, guaranteed issue. So in other words, you can call that policyholder and say, hey, you qualified for a brand new term policy up to $500,000, and there's zero underwriting. This is your premium, and if you want to sign up, I'll email you the one-page application, and you are done. And we also have external conversion programs from various companies that you can also go to. So there's lots and lots of options. Joe's going to talk about some of the qualifications, and then we're going to roll right into the presentation. Joe?
Yeah, thanks, Bill. Like you had mentioned, the minimum production is that $10,000 of target so far year to date. Obviously, that counts for life, annuity, critical illness, cancer. You know, again, if you're close or even if you're just starting out, you do have time to hit that $10,000 target premium limit, and those leads will be sent. We made it very, very simple to enroll. Basically, everybody on today's call is going to be receiving an email this afternoon with some information, again, on the Orphan Policyholder Lead Program, as well as today's recording. You'll also receive a link to enroll yourself in this program. So all you have to do is very simple, put in your contact information. You're actually going to put in your resident or any non-resident state licenses that you hold. That way, if there aren't any orphan leads available in your resident state, we may be able to send you some that you have a non-resident license in, which is important because with all the e-applications and drop tickets, makes it very simple and very easy to make those sales over the phone. So those are just a couple parameters. Again, you will be receiving that email this afternoon to go ahead and enroll yourself in this program.
Okay, thanks, Joe. Okay, so the way that I want to set up this interview today with Ken is I just really want him to give, for him to give you his tips and tidbits just so you kind of have an idea of how the program works. And we all know this is going to come down to the way you spin the phone call and the way you position yourself to the policy holder. Okay, it's very, very important you get your arms around the program because, you know, this could be an awesome lead that can turn into a great sale, and it can be a win-win for everyone involved. But if you don't spin this the right way, it could go the other direction really quickly, which we don't want to happen. So what I wanted to do was first I want to have Ken come on and just kind of give you his take on the program, and then I'm gonna ask him a few questions, and then we'll kind of go from there. Ken,
Sure.
are you there?
Yeah, thank you, Bill. All right, thanks, Joe. Yeah, I think you want me to kind of introduce the program a little bit in my own words. I see this is a big deal. I say it because I've been in the business for I think over 12 years now, and I've worked orphans. And orphans are very interesting. They're very, first of all, it's a warm lead. It's not a cold call, so you're automatically in the door, and you know, as long as you have a good lead into the conversation and your conversation is intelligible and they get your trust, you're off and running with the relationship. And I'll make the comment that things that don't happen immediately on these, they're going to be cases that may happen immediately, but most importantly is they're long-term thinking projects. And so they're part of your book of business and their investments. So I've worked orphans for, you know, around 12 years, but they come and go. These are gap fillers. There are lead programs like the mortgage lead program and other leads that you may buy out there, but I've always stated in my other talks that you need 3 sources of how you get your leads. Well, this is another tool for us to have a lucrative part of our business become diverse. You know, hard economic times hit, great economic times hit, but diversity is the key to being a successful and consistent agent, and especially in the months of June, July, and August when things are not as fertile in the grounds of insurance. We need sources. And so without further ado, ask me some questions here. I'll kind of shoot from the hip on the fly. And we like for these conversations to be real transparent to all the agents. So guys, just know that, I'm out there, fighting the wolves like everybody else. And, this is just the world I live in. So I'm trying to help, because it's not an easy way to make money, but there are some great opportunities, and Levinson does a fantastic job of giving us many opportunities and many tools in our belt. So,
thank you, Ken. Thank you. I appreciate that. And for everyone on the call, obviously take out a pen and paper, and after we go through these 6 steps, we're going to show you all of the different programs that are available. In other words, what products that you can talk about or offer either without any underwriting at all or a simplified issue program. So the next slide, we're going to go over that, and then right after the program slide, we're going to dive into our brand new Agency Automator CRM tool, which again kind of goes hand in hand, because at the end of the day, you're building your book of business. These are new clients that you can add to your existing book, and even if they're not ready to purchase today, when you call them, okay, guess what? In 12 months, when their policy review comes up, you make that phone call again, that could be the time when they're ready to pull the trigger. Or maybe a new child is born, or a child is entering college, or someone passed away, or there's a beneficiary change. A million things are happening, and this will allow you to keep your finger on the trigger and know everything that you need to know about this particular person or family. So great stuff to come. The first thing I wanted to do, and I just want to talk about how important, again, it is that Ken is joining us, because me, Joe, Carrie, and the rest of our staff here, obviously we have over 100 years of experience, but we know the program inside and out from inside these 4 walls. And Ken is the agent out there that's making it happen, hitting the streets, hitting the phones. And I just think it's so important that you can relate, obviously, to us as the IMO and the servicing arm, but Ken as the real agent that is just like your brother, so to speak, that's out there doing the same exact thing. So again, thank you to Ken, and thank you to all the agents for joining us. So the first thing we're going to do here is dive into the various steps. So as soon as you receive these leads, okay, and obviously you want to make contact and call them on the phone number provided, okay, and Ken is going to give you his take on the way that he calls the first client, say, and introduces the reasoning for the call. Ken, do you want to start with that, the initial contact?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, sure. I mean, obviously, the first thing I'll say is that the leads that come to you, listen, not every one of them is going to have a good phone number. Let's be real. I always get the good, bad, and the ugly. The beautiful thing is we're getting a lead. The ugly part of this deal is not everything's straightforward in life. So if you want to do better and become a good agent, you have to kind of do some of the grunt work and the tough work, and that is you got to dive into LinkedIn, you got to dive into the social networks, you got to dive into whitepages.com, you got to find these people, because not all these numbers are good. People change numbers all the time, and it's a very changing world we live in. So I make that to say, if you think you're going to come on and they're going to give you leads and you're automatically just going to have you an easy slam dunk, it's not going to be that way. You're going to have to work for each one of these to make money. So when I make the phone call and I get a number, I'm basically going to call and, hey, this is, Kent, and I'm calling because I've been assigned to your policy as a result of the carrier assigning it to me as a result of a former agent no longer being an agent for whatever reason. Because you're going to get you have to address that question right up front before they ask you, because a lot of them are going to ask you, and they have me many times, well, what happened to my agent, or why are you calling me? So you're going to address anticipated questions before you even get into the conversation. So I would write a script, and obviously you don't want to talk it, but you want to have something to go by, because if you get questions, you want to answer them in a proper way. So introduce yourself as the new agent. for the care as a result of a former agent no longer being in the business for whatever reason. And the idea for this conversation is to create or to hand off a relationship to you that was once with someone else. You know, they may have known their agent, they may not have. But the idea behind this is for you to get into a conversation and talk about their insurance, about what they have as a whole, not just this policy. For instance, I'm talking to people with Banner Insurance and Genworth Insurance, and you know, you're going to get into some other stuff in a minute with regards to Banner's has an offer out there where you know, they're offering a 25-year term with no underwriting, and you can swap out the current policy that they currently have. Well, that's very exciting, but you have to anticipate the fact that that's going to be a higher premium than the premium they're paying. So how are you going to overcome that objective? So overcoming objectives is the name of the game in these orphans, because you know, they're going to be a little skeptic, so you have to warm up. And so you want to go into the introduction being a very, this is who I am, this is why I'm calling, and don't be so salesy. That's your first call. Don't be too salesy, just be their friend. And then you're going to put on your calendar, maybe a week or two later, whatever you get the feel from your conversation, to follow up and then talk about coming together for a review. How about that, Bill?
Yeah, no, that's perfect. And just like Ken said, you know, you're also gonna you have to create the warm environment. Obviously, the first 10 seconds, this is going to be like a real cold call. So as soon as they understand that you have their policy number and the policy date, and obviously their name, date of birth, amount of insurance, the product type, even what health class they got and premium they were paying, home address, you're going to have all of the details for the policy. Okay, so as soon as, obviously you don't want to sound like a broken record, but as soon as you can introduce the fact that you are the new servicing arm or agent and you're there to help them, not just sell something, I think you have one foot in the door, okay? And every lead that you get has all of the facts listed in the email. So everything is going to be at your fingertips. And one other thing I'll point out there is Ken talked about the phone number. What if it's wrong or they moved? You're also going to have a full address. So, with Google these days, you can type in a name and address and you'll have just about all of the information you could ever dream of. So yes, you're going to have to be a little resourceful and, think outside the box a little bit, but most of this will be done for you. So yeah, I think that's important. Yep, what were you going to say?
Yep. Yeah, there's a couple things just thinking through as you're talking is what I would do on the first call is I would introduce yourself, and then I would confirm all the facts. I have that your date of birth is X, you have a face amount of X, and your carrier is obviously Banner. Your address is this, and this is your phone number. Do you have a cell phone? This is a chance for you to get personal with them and not sell anything, because you want everything you can in your hip pocket to go back to them. The first call is not about making a sale. Just get that into your head. It's the second and the third call that you're trying to then go and do a review. So you want to gather information and gain their trust on the first call, and I hope that makes sense to everybody, because that's when they're going to get off the phone and go, the first insurance agent ever on a phone call with me that didn't try to sell me anything. Well, guess what? I like that guy or that lady. So they're going to come back and take your call the next time.
Yep, that's a great point. It's just turning a cold client into a warm client. And also remember, these are prospects or clients that already pulled the trigger and bought a policy. Okay, some $2-3 million, some are $200,000-300,000, but they're obviously sold on life insurance. So they love the concept. They already have the policy. So if you can spin this the right way, this ultimately will create a sale. And then, one other thing I'll mention, obviously depending on the client is the way you're going to pivot. If the client is interested in saying, hey, you know what, I only have $250,000, can you get me a quote on a $1 million? I'm looking at increasing my face amount. then you're going to run the quote and get prepared and be ready to fill out an e-application or a drop ticket. But, you'll have to kind of be the judge of that. Every phone call will be different, just like a regular lead. But I think the name of the game is you want to make that introduction call and try to turn this into a warm conversation, just like Ken talked about by mentioning the facts. Okay, so number two, obviously depending on how the conversation is going, you want to talk about a policy review. Ms. Simpson, have there been any life changes, any beneficiary changes that I can help you with or that we need to talk about? And again, that's going to help you open a new door. And it's when we were putting together this slide, we were trying to think, what the steps are and kind of give you an outline of the way each phone call is going to be, but everybody is different. Every call is going to be different, so you got to kind of be on your toes. But this is just a rough, generic background approach, if you will. So, Ken, what's your approach, say, on number two, once the door's open?
Yeah, the first thing that comes to mind is, guys, listen, this is a game. Whoever asks the questions has control of the conversation. So make this a game and take the fear out of making an insurance sale. And the way you do that is the first call isn't an insurance sale. You're gathering information. You're confirming facts. Once you confirm facts, you're then asking questions. Well, who's in control? The person asking questions. Ask the questions. Well, have you purchased a new home since you bought the first policy? Have you had any additional children? How's your lifestyle changed? Is $500,000 enough insurance for you? You're gathering information, and don't close the conversation on the first call with trying to sell them anything. So the point is they'll go through a series of questions and you write the script. I always have found out that if I sit here and tell you what to say, you don't learn. But what I have learned is if I wrote the script myself and I wrote the questions and I wrote it out, I'm not only learning, but I'm engaging in how I'm going to present it over the phone in my conversation, and I'm not just reading it to them. So I would take the time to sit down and just write out a conversation, and it seems corny, but it actually will just stick to your brain, and then you don't have to read it off of a page, and it becomes more transparent, more likable, more real, and the more real you are, the more people will engage in the conversation with you.
Yep. Thanks, Ken. That's exactly right. And another thing also I was just thinking about too, when before you make the call, do some fact finding of your own. Look at, hey, you know what, they took this policy out 10 years ago. They have a 15-year term. There's 5 years left. Okay, and bring that up to them, because as we know, a lot of clients will purchase a policy and they put the policy in a safe or put it away somewhere. They have no idea what the premium is. What did they buy, term or UL? They have no clue. So bring some of this back up to the surface. You can even run some quotes ahead of time just so you can be prepared and say, oh, we can actually look at say a 25-year term, or we can look at converting your existing term to a permanent for this much amount. So, maybe get some of the facts out in the open, do some homework before you pick up the phone, and just to kind of be prepared. And once again, it's all going to depend on that particular policy holder. That might change everything, but you need to do your homework and be on your toes. Okay, so that kind of has to do with number three, with new policy options. That's where you're going to get into, say, the Banner Life program, which is awesome, guaranteed issue. But like Ken said, it is going to be more premium. But on the plus side, guaranteed issue, no underwriting whatsoever, and this is a chance to buy more insurance and get that same health class that the client received, say, 4 or 5 years ago. So that's a great plus. And then we're going to show you the Genworth program and then other external conversion programs. So you could say, oh, if you're looking at maybe a permanent policy, we can stay at Genworth for this much premium, or we can go to MetLife for this much premium. So there's many different ways that you can approach this. Also bring up, and I'll combine number 4 too, and then we'll let Ken give you his take, but cross-selling opportunities. a great time, obviously, to talk about more or additional life insurance, but what about disability insurance or critical illness or cancer insurance or even referrals? Do you have any friends or family members that also might be looking for insurance or disability? This could go on and on and on. So I'll let Ken talk about number 3 and 4, but that's just my take and my thoughts.
Yeah, I'm guessing that you already mentioned, and maybe I did, but regarding Genworth, they're just not in the insurance business anymore. So one of the key features there is, as a result, their customer service is not going to be as friendly, and I think we can beat the price, and it's just a win-win all around. So you want to dabble with that a little bit. On cross-selling, I'll just make a comment on the orphans I've seen. These are fairly younger people in their 40s. I say younger because that's younger than me, and I like to think of it. I'm still a little bit young, but the point is that there's opportunity to ask them simple questions like, "Are you a business owner?" Ask them what they do, because if you get a hold of a business owner, you're going to have a different thinker. You got to know the right questions to jab at people so that you get the right information you can have to make the right business decision on your next question. For instance, if you get a business owner on the line, there's a need for key person insurance. If you start talking about you are the key person in your business, what happens to your business if something happens to you and your relationships fall apart? You need to ask these questions if people own their own business. Now, if they don't, what happens to your mortgage? You've got what is your mortgage balance? $200,000. Well, if something happened to you, how's your wife going to pay for that, or your husband going to pay for that? If both of you are contributing to the home, so you have to go into this asking lots of questions so that you can cross-sell. For instance, if they're in their 40s, an IUL is a good opportunity if they have cash flow, if they're a business owner, because those have a tendency to grow for those people in their 40s and gain some cash and do things that are necessary. For instance, long-term care is the time that you want to talk to people, or the 40s is the time you want to talk to people for long-term care. Why? Because their parents are passing away. Their parents are in long-term care. They know what it costs to shell out $6,000 and deplete their savings to take care of their parents. Understand why you're asking certain questions so that you can get to their heart, not to make a sale, but to make a relationship happen so the sale will occur. We have to know how to ask questions, and while we're asking the question, to lead them. We're leading these people with our questions to get to the next end result, which is the sale of a policy, and that's just simply insurance. You're doing these people a service. You're doing people a great service by giving them long-term care. You're giving them a great service by selling them life insurance and anything else that, any supplemental insurance. They may need $1 million today, and then they may need $1 million 5 years, or another $1 million 5 years from now, because they bought their own business and they have more exposure, and there's a need because if something happened to them, there's $2 million at risk, and that needs to be taken care of. So again, take your script and just kind of draw out different options at the bottom. And I have a wheel that I put together, and all it is a clock, really, if you will, and it has 12 spokes on it. On every spoke, starting at number 1, I go through that wheel of those 12 different products, and I would challenge everybody, come up with your own, what's the priority product. The first one's life insurance, the second one's health insurance, the third one's long-term care. Come up with 12 products on that wheel, and when you're on the phone, have that wheel taped to your window or in front of you when you're in a conversation, so that you can talk about various products. This is not just a life insurance sale.
Yeah, that's big. It's just a matter of it's pressing the right buttons. And I like the wheel approach, because this way you don't hang up the phone and say, "Oh no, I forgot to mention disability or cancer insurance," or this way you're going to cross off every single type of product. So that's a great approach too. Yep.
Yeah, and trust me, Bill, everybody take note of this, because when you have that wheel in front of you, you'll engage in the conversation. You'll get so emotional in the conversation and talking, and you'll forget about the wheel. Actively take a red pen and check off each product when you talk about it. Actively take notes on the wheel. Make a copy of 100 wheels. put them in front of you, and those are your notes for your next conversation, but you have to actively talk and write at the same time, or you'll get caught up in the conversation and you'll completely forget about the wheel and you'll just go off on a tangent and you're hanging up the phone and you're going, oh my gosh, I've done it. We're all human. So.
Yep, no, that's great. Keep it in front of you as a reminder. That's a great idea. And again, it's trying to hit that soft spot. And then when you hang up the phone, you crossed off every section and you did your job. So, number 5 here is moving forward. If this turns out to be a sale, great. But like Ken said, if you want to first make the initial call and plant the seed with what the call is about, and you are their servicing agent, if they need anything, great. If it does wind up being a sale, even better. Of course, that's the icing on the cake. But either way, I think it's so important to set up a date and get that annual policy review appointment, because even if you're not getting a sale today, 12 months from now, this could be one of the biggest sales of your life, or some great referrals might come out of this. You never know where it can go. Ken, what is that? Do you agree with that? Do you have a different take on that?
Yes, here's what I would do. I would have the initial conversation, and then I would say, listen, I called and I'm about to go into a meeting. Always be busy when you're on the phone. I'm going to go into a meeting and I can't take a lot of time today, so I'd like to, speak with you on a different time and get you on my calendar to review all of your insurance policies. And if this is the only policy, that's fine. I just want to speak with you a little deep, a little more in detail. Do I have your permission to call you back in the next week or two? And, they're going to say yes, because you haven't offended them, you hadn't done anything. So you might want to say, well, I have next Wednesday at 1 or next Thursday at 3. Can we do a policy review on all of your insurance and talk about it? So that's one way to approach it. If you feel that's too strong, then back off a little bit, and you're going to just randomly call them in a week or two after your first initial introduction. And then you're going to just say, hey, we spoke a week or two ago, and we talked about this, this, and this, and something you said triggered that you might have an interest in doing X, so I'd like to talk to you about that. And then you're going to have a plan for them. The idea behind getting on the phone and waiting a week is to have a plan. People like to be told what to do. They may not act like it, but people basically can't spell insurance. Look, guys, we all are in this world of insurance every day. Most people don't understand insurance, and when you go into a talk with them, a simple talk, there's 3 types of insurance. There's term insurance, which comes in increments of 5 years, 10, 15, 20, 25, and 30-year term. At the end of the term, you don't have any cash value. So there's another product that we have. It's called a return of premium. It also can be set up as a 20 or 30-year type product. At the end, if you outlive your term, all that money is returned back to you. And that's a really nice product. It costs a little more than term, but at the end, you might get $85,000 or $90,000. You can use that $85,000 or $90,000 for long-term care in the next 20 or 30 years. Wouldn't you agree? You're going to get them to say yes. And then the third type is a permanent policy, which goes all the way to 90, 95, 100, depending on how you style it. And there's cash value involved. Everybody loves to hear cash value, but hardly anybody wants to pay for it. So you have to then convince them that it's worth it. But my point is that you have to ask them to have the conversation, get on their calendar, have the in-depth conversation with them, and start talking 101 insurance with people. There's 3 types of insurance: term, ROP, and permanent. For the benefit of just keeping it simple, just come up with a plan and go with it and make it your business, own the business. And I'm telling you, you'll build confidence and they will hear it in your voice. And as you get older, they will see it and you will sell more insurance.
Yep, and it's also, I like that laid-back approach where, yes, you're making the introduction, you're telling them the reason why you're calling, and you're saying, hey, by the way, I'm going into a meeting in 5 minutes that I have to get ready for, but is it okay if we can speak, tomorrow at 9:30 a.m. or is, 5:15 better? That's also a nice approach, because you're coming across a little softer, like you don't want anything from them right now. So, that also works. But again, I think it's all going to depend on that client and that particular lead that you're talking to. But I do like that soft side approach. Okay, so number 6, and again, as we're talking, I don't know the right way. Ken doesn't know the perfect right way, and you probably don't know the exact perfect right way. But if you can take a little bit from what I say, a little bit from what Ken says, and then I'm sure you have your own style. Okay, and you can kind of put everything together and have your own pitch. That's the perfect solution. If you're ultimately selling policies and helping these clients, it's a win-win. I don't care how you get from A to Z. As long as it works and everybody's happy, it's a win as far as I'm concerned. So the last mention here, and I'll also say, I know some of this stuff is very basic, life insurance selling 101, but it's good to go back and remember some of these black and white solutions. And, if you can pick up a thing or two or a tip about this program, great. It was worth the 40 minutes involved. So this is all good stuff. On the last bullet there, share your contact information, okay? If they want to call you back with their wife or husband on the phone, great. Establish yourself as their new servicing agent. That's huge, okay, especially with that soft side approach that Ken mentioned. Ken, do you want to close with anything? Do you have anything else for everyone?
Yeah, I'll close with when you're on that first initial call, it's a really important call because you catch them off guard and you get their cell phone number. I'm just going to leave it at that. Ask them questions. Ask them for the cell phone number, okay? Because, it's just an important question. I'll close with some sales statistics. It might be boring to you, but it's real. It's a study shows that 48% of salespeople never follow up with a prospect. 25% of salespeople make a second contact and then they stop. 12% of salespeople only make 3 contacts and stop. Only 10% of salespeople make more than 3 contacts. 2% of sales are made on the first contact. 3% of sales are made on the second contact. 5% of sales are made on the third contact. 10% of sales are made on the fourth contact, and 80% of sales are made on the 5th to the 12th contact. So I don't know. I just think that everybody needs to understand that picking up the phone is the answer to this business. So.
Yep, I love that, Ken. That is awesome, and that's so true. I've seen that before, and again, it's that number 5 through 12 that makes that final sale. So the point is, stay on top of your book, even prospects, or could be these orphan leads, whatever the case is. You need a great follow-up system. And also, remember when Ken said grab their cell phone number, just as important is their email address, because nowadays, throw that name and email into your follow-up tool, and then even if they don't buy anything today, a year, 2 years, 5 years later, you might spark that moment, and boom, there's a brand new $1 million IUL sale. So, it's great that Kent mentioned that, and it's all about keeping your name in front of your clients with constant follow-up. All right, Ken, I want to just thank you very much once again for your time. I appreciate you sharing it with us, and I'm sure our agents are thankful as well.
Okay, good luck, everybody.
Thanks, Ken. Okay, so moving forward here, we just have a couple more slides left. I think if you're using the program, you really need to know what conversion programs are available so you can talk intelligently to these clients to give them some great options. You can even run quotes ahead of time, so you could tell them exactly what the premium looks like and what the new face amount is, and hopefully make that sale on the initial call. So Joe is going to dive into the banner program. We also have a external conversion program with Genworth, MetLife, and Transamerica as well. Joe, you there?
Yeah, thanks, Bill. So the first thing I want to cover, and Ken kind of brought it up, but for those Banner Life clients that meet the criteria, again, Banner Life has what's called the trade-up program. It's basically offering existing term policyholders an option to upgrade to a brand new 25-year term, which is a brand new product for Banner Life. Again, this is a guaranteed issue style type of exchange. There's no underwriting questions. They basically fill out a 2-page form, send it in. and as the agent of record on that case, you can give that client that new policy. They are going to pay you commission on the increased amount, so a great way to get them into a new 25-year period term. Also, guaranteed conversion to universal life. We can run those illustrations here at the marketing team. We can basically email those over to you so you have a great idea. Even if the client wants to do a partial conversion, a lot of times they don't know that they had $1 million term policy and maybe they only need 100 or a $250,000 of permanent coverage. We can run those smaller portions of that term policy and they can keep the rest or cancel, whatever they like to do. And of course, a brand new term plan, anywhere from a 10-year to a 30-year. We do have carriers like Banner and Transamerica and American General that have 25-year term options available as well. One thing I wanted to bring up, if you get clients that have the Genworth products, although they don't qualify for that Banner trade-up program, we have some other neat options. Of course, guaranteed conversion and new term products with alternate carriers. But MetLife actually has, you'll see on the right-hand side, number 3, a program called Class Match. This is basically an ability for your client to actually get a new policy with MetLife that matches your client's existing policy's underwriting class and face amount up to $1.5 million. So depending on how old that term policy is, they can actually go all the way up to $1.5 million of coverage with simplified underwriting. It's a great way to get that client into a new product without having to explain to them they have to go through a full pyramid exam. Also on the bottom, number 4, Transamerica has a similar program. They have what's called the Top program, and they have what's called the Top Plus. The difference is that the Top program allows your fully underwritten clients that have been issued a policy in the last 5 years to be eligible for a new 10, 15, 25, or 30-year term without any pyramid exam. The Top Plus program actually is the same exact thing, but your clients can qualify for Transamerica's living benefit term product, which is huge because a really, really big selling point for a lot of these clients is going to be, asking them that question. Do you have the old type of term life insurance or the new kind? And of course, when that client says, well, what's the difference? What's the old kind? What's the new kind? Well, the new kind actually has living benefits built into it. So if you have a heart attack, stroke, cancer, if you can't perform some activities of daily living and you don't die, this policy will actually accelerate your death benefit while you're still alive. So that's been a very, very successful selling point for a lot of agents that are coming up against existing policyholders as well.
Okay, good stuff, Joe. All right, so we're going to move pretty quick here. Just a few new additions to Levinson that we're going to go over quickly. The first one is, it's really a dream come true for us. We spoke about the agency automator almost a year ago now. This was featured in Insurance Newsnet magazine. We were very excited, and we still are very excited, but we had some hurdles that we needed to get over with programming, and we had basically we had to use a different third-party vendor to help us with some technology issues. But the point is, we finally are launching the program. It is done. We were the first one years and years ago to roll out a CRM tool for life insurance agents, and now we are the first ones to launch. It's a CRM tool combined with a prospecting system, all wrapped under one dashboard. It is awesome. This is the Levinson Agency Automator. And if you're active with us, writing at least $1,000 of premium a month, this is completely free. Okay, or if you're brand new and haven't written a penny with us yet, the co-op price is $25, and we pay for the activation fee. So it's very, very inexpensive, and if you're active with us, it's free, and you get 1,000 new prospects a month included in that $25 price. So the Agency Automator, you're going to hear all about it in Insurance Newsnet magazine, on our webinars, and email blasts. You will see it, and you heard it first from us on this call today. So we are extremely excited. Joe is going to show you exactly what this looks and feels like, and then I'm going to show you about the website that will actually be tied to your CRM tool, because we all know working the orphan leads, working your own leads, you need to have that online presence. Very, very important. And then we're going to close off the call. Joe, you there?
Yeah, thanks, Bill. So one thing I want to mention on that base CRM platform for Agency Automator is what's really neat is we talked about setting up annual policy reviews for the orphan leads and for your existing clients. This email marketing system is pretty neat. You can actually set it up to automatically drip on your clients for holidays, policy anniversaries, birthdays, any sort of date or trigger that you want. Another great thing is you can actually set up a consumer-driven style reactive campaign. So if you sent them an email with a couple different topics and they clicked on option 2 that may have been about disability coverage, they can automatically get another email that explains disability coverage in a little bit more detail and maybe even gives them some tools to run quotes on themselves. So it's very reactive to each client, which helps you kind of target specifically what they're looking for, which is great, especially when you roll in our Sell While You Sleep products. Clients will have the ability to actually run quotes, apply for coverage, get approved instantly, and in some scenarios, get their policy right in their inbox the same exact day that they apply for coverage. So really, really neat stuff going on here. Bill also mentioned part of Agency Automator, which is prospecting for new clients. You actually have a database of up to 20 million consumers and 6 million businesses. The great thing about this program is you can put in your own zip code. You can pick, let's say, a 20-mile radius, and it will actually give you all the contact information, like Bill mentioned, up to 1,000 leads per month. You can select different email templates to send out to those people. You can also send them a mailer. You can call them. You can email them. Just a lot of great ways to get your name in front of people. And like Bill said, for active agents, there's absolutely no cost. So this, like Bill said, has been a dream come true. It's really unique. There's really no other program that does what this program does for an insurance agent. So it's really great. We're very excited. We can't wait to roll that out in about a week or 2.
Okay, thanks, Joe. Also, not even on here, I'll go off script for a second. Our Levinson mobile app is finally ready to launch. So you're going to also hear about that with the Agency Automator. And remember, that's going to do everything that you can do from our website on your desktop or laptop, you'll be able to do from your smartphone. So we are not stopping here, folks. Our promise to you years and years ago was we are going to make the agency bigger and better to help our agents more successful. So that's the name of the game, and I think we have been standing behind our promises to you. So we'll just talk about a few more slides here, and we're almost done, I promise you. All great stuff and complimentary lead-generating websites. So, you know, working these orphan policy holders or any lead or prospect system for that matter, you need to have that online presence. Okay, what happens when you call Lisa Smith, the orphan policy holder from Wisconsin, okay, and you're calling, say, from Florida, and she has no idea who you are, and she, while she's talking to you, runs a quote online or a search online and looks for Bill Levinson, and you don't have any kind of web presence, okay, it brings down that validity. It's not a good look or feel for a professional insurance agent or anyone in the financial services field. You need to have an online presence. So use our free website platform. It's called insprofessional.com. You can go there. It's free if you are active with us. And inside the website, you'll have your quote engines, your lead capture system. We have mobile accessible templates. Okay, that means your clients can pull you up from their smartphones and run quotes and look at articles and calculators and their scholarship program, and basically everything that they need to know is on your own website. You can customize it with a picture of you, your family, and the dog. And again, it just gives that whole impression of bigger, better, more professional, very important for growing your business now and in the future. You must have some sort of website. If it's with us, great. If not, that's fine too, as long as it looks great and has that professional look and feel around it. Okay, so we have a couple more slides left. Lead programs. Okay, so besides our orphan policyholder program, we also have our infamous, now exclusive, mortgage lead protection program. Okay, and you've probably heard about that by now. That's a co-op deal that we offer only to our agents. We place orders every Monday. We also have 2 mailer programs that are also a co-opportunity here. So prices are very low. The annuity mailer is on your left side, and that one is $435, 1,000 mailers. On the right side, we have a final expense mailer, $330, 1,000 mailers. We use your return address, so you collect all the leads. Average response rate is about 2.5%. So again, another great way, okay, to get some more prospects and leads and share your story, okay? These are all programs that were built for you. Everything's already done. So I would definitely give these a shot. Okay, our IUL software has been huge this year, and it's, again, complimentary, and you do get 4 months free, and then month 4, as long as you've written that minimum premium of $5,000, you do get to keep the software, and if you're using the software the way that we tell you to, then you will reach that minimum times 10, okay? And if you don't, then you're not using the software. It's really that simple. Joe's going to give you a quick 100-foot overview, and then we'll end the call.
Yeah, thanks, Bill. So as you can see from the screenshot, this is a pretty neat tool. It actually takes all the data from the illustration that we're running or that your office is running on an Index Universal Life product. It compares it against any sort of investment product. It could be a 401k, mutual fund, existing annuity product, IRA. It doesn't matter. It takes all the fees associated with the non-life insurance product and compares it against the tax-free income that clients can take advantage of inside of an Index Universal Life. So at the end of the day here, what you're showing the client is, really the advantage of using that life insurance product, all the great tax breaks they're going to get by using that, and then comparing that against their existing plan. So, 99% of the time, that Index Universal Life product is always coming out ahead because we're growing money tax-deferred and we're taking out that income tax-free. So it's a great solution. There are some great consumer videos that are actually built into the platform, even some Tony Robbins videos where he talks about 401k products. And then we also have some great news clips from 60 Minutes that talk about exposing all the fees associated with the 401k plan. So this is something that agents are using. Like Bill said, clients are really understanding the difference between the two products, and it's a clear decision at the end of the day. So a great product. We will be emailing the link out to download that software again this afternoon.
Okay, thank you, Joe. So we are just about done here, and I know we've ran almost an hour, a little longer than we wanted. So I really want to thank everybody, okay, for taking the time and spending it with us today. I hope you walked away with some new facts or a sales idea or a new tool that will ultimately help build your business. And really, truly, I hope you can see the value added that Levinson brings to the table, because this is our life here, okay? And we're not going to stop here. I say that all the time, but the proof is in the pudding. With our new mobile app, the Levinson Agency Automator, this New.Orphan lead program, we are doing things that no one else has even dreamed of. Okay, so we want to earn your business, and I think we have proven that to you. So take the first step. Take the action that's necessary to build your business. I'm going to end with this quote by Tony Robbins. As you know, I'm a big motivational guru. I love Tony Robbins. In fact, we'll have his right hand speaking at our annual Agent Expo on March 31st of 2017. We hope to see everybody there. We'll have a whole nother webinar on that as well, but I'll end the call with this. A real decision is measured by the fact that you've taken a new action. If there's no action, you haven't truly decided. With that said, have a great rest of the week, a great weekend, and good selling. Take care.